Hi everyone, Tasha here for Kat Scrappiness, and today we're going to do a fun Easter card created with some new release items. The first stamp set we're going to be using is called the Hippity Hoppity Sentiment Set, and this one includes a whole bunch of fun Easter greetings. I'll also be using one of the bunnies from the Hippity Hoppity set. And I'll be using 2 pieces of white cardstock, some glitter paper, this fun carrot themed pattern paper from the Easter Parade paper pad, and it's double-sided, and a piece of orange cardstock. You will need a little bit of a thicker weight cardstock for this project. I'm going to start by creating the base. I'm using the orange cardstock, and this will be cut at 11 by 4 1/4. And then the second little part, or the second base layer, is cut at 5 1/2 by 3. And that's all that you'll need for creating the actual card. So I'm just going to measure this one up and make sure that I cut it, and I'll have all of the measurements in the description box below as well as in the blog post. I'm using this new pencil bone folder from Kat Scrappiness to do my score lines. I find this pencil shape really easy to use, and it makes scoring super fast. I'm starting with the main base, and this card is going to be scored along the long way of the card. We're scoring it at a 1/2 inch, 2, 4, and then 5 1/2. And do you see how easy this pencil makes the scoring? It goes really fast. And then for the little tiny base, I'm going to be scoring it along the long ways as well. And we're scoring it at a 1/2, and then we're scoring it at 2. Now that the scores are all done, you can put that aside, and we're going to start stamping. This Hippity Hoppity set has so many cute little bunnies, but I'm using the little bunny that's sitting inside of the colorful, or the Easter egg that you can make colorful. I'm going to be stamping with some black hybrid ink since I'm going to be using Copic markers to color. In addition to the little bunny, I am going to use the little flowers included in this set. There's 3 tiny little flowers, so I decided to stamp those along the bottom just to give a little more detail to the little scene I'm going to be creating. And again, I stamped those with the same black ink, and once it was done, it looks like so. Next, I'm going to stamp the sentiment right away since we have the Misty tool out. And then I'm stamping this sentiment with a really pretty blue ink color to kind of go with the Easter or spring theme of this card. Instead of doing with a black ink color, I thought the blue would be a really pretty pop of color, and I think it coordinates great with all of the orange that I'm using throughout this project. So I'm just using my stamping tool to make sure I have a really nice even sentiment. And once I was done, I went over and started to color my little image. I'm using shades of gray for the bunny, and I'm just using the cool shades of gray. After I was done with the darkest tone, I went in with a medium tone. And then I'm going to finish with C0, which is the lightest gray color I'm using for this project. It's really easy. You just kind of layer it on and blend it with the lightest towards the center. Once I was done, I started coloring the little Easter egg. I wanted to use, again, colors that kind of coordinated with the spring and Easter theme. So I used a pretty light blue color, some light pink, and then I'm going in with a shade of orange to coordinate with the base, and then yellow for the center of the flowers. I just love how cute this little bunny looks inside the Easter egg, and you can do so many color combinations since it has those stripes with like that scalloped edge. So you can really customize this to go with any pattern paper that you want to match with. Once I was done coloring in those cute little flowers, I added some pink to the bunny's cheeks, And then I went in and started drawing in some grass. I want the bunny to be sitting on a grassy area, so I'm just going to use some simple brush strokes to just create grass around the flowers, around the edge behind the bunny, and some around the bottom of the card. And I'm just, again, just pulling up with some simple brush strokes. Once it was done, I went in with some lighter green ink and just colored in all of the grass, going over those brush strokes to kind of blend everything together. After, I'm using some Distress Oxide ink to create my sky and just a simple cloud stencil. If you don't have a cloud stencil, there's no worries. You can just cut a piece of paper into some cloud-like design, and you can stencil on it, and it makes great backgrounds. I do that all the time as well when I want to mix up my background designs. After I was done, I decided to attach a little yellow jewel in the center of the largest flower. These yellow jewels was part of the March release that just came out, and it's so sparkly and pretty. I don't think it shows up as sparkly as it is in person, but it's just a fun detail to add to the center of the little flower. And I hope it picks up. I just put that in with some liquid glue, and I'm going to put it aside to dry. Next, I'm going to make sure that all of my score lines are nicely creased so that it bends easily. I'm using my Kat Scrappiness bone folder. I'll use the side that has the flat edge just to go over all of those score lines to make sure that it bends and folds without any problems. And I did that for both the small and the largest base. Next, I'm moving back to my scoreboard to cut my layers. And this will be the layers that will go throughout my card. So I'm starting with the glitter layers. This first piece goes behind the bunny scene we just created. And this one is cut 2.5 by 3 1/4, and it fits perfectly. Next is going to be the largest layer, the one that goes on the main base of the card. And this one is cut 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to go in then with my little carrot paper. I'm starting with the largest one, and this one is cut 3 3/4 by 5. And you'll see how it just has a really nice sparkly frame, and then you have the orange base showing in the background. I'm just using some regular glue runner to attach my layers. You can use any adhesive you choose. Score tape would also work well, but I'm just using the glue runner. It makes it quick and easy. Pressing down, since that is that glitter paper, you want to make sure you press down firmly just to make sure it adheres correctly to that glitter paper. And then I'm going in and I'm going to attach it to my card base. You want to do this before you assemble your card, because once you attach that bottom area that folds up, you wouldn't be able to add this backing or this colorful layer. And I just needed some time to adjust it just right. But once I was done, you can see it'll give that really fun design in the background. Next, I'm going in with some score tape just along the flap of the main card, and then I'll put it on the flap of the small card and on the back bottom area. So you just want the score on the bottom on the opposite side of where the flap folds in. And this is what's going to attach it to the main card base. I'm going back to my paper trimmer to add a couple more glitter pieces just to decorate the top a little bit more. And I'll use the same coordinating carrot pattern paper. Again, I'll have all the measurements in the description box as well as on the blog post, so you can just look back and follow along from there. And then once I was done, I used the same glue runner to attach those layers. I think it looks really nice with that sparkly glitter for this Easter card, and then it really frames those carrots. It's just so sparkly and so pretty, and I love how that orange background paper looks. I like to use colors that I don't usually use too often, and orange, I mean, for fall maybe, but it's also fun to use it in spring, especially for a bunny themed card. So I'm just attaching my cute little bunny scene, and then I'll attach this layered card to the panel before I attach the panels together. I think it's easier to have all of your layers attached before you assemble the card. And it's really easy to line it up. And again, you have that really nice orange around the edges. So I'm using my score or my bone folder to just kind of rub that score tape so it pulls up easier. And then all you have to do is fold it up and press down firmly. And then you have the bottom base. That's why you want to use a little bit thicker cardstock. This way it's not too light, because when you add those layers, it gets heavier. So make sure that you use at least an 80-pound cardstock. And if you want to use something thicker, that would work as well. I did add some glitter, and on my example, I did have another piece of pattern paper as well on that bottom layer, but you can decorate this any way that you choose to. The most important part is to have the measurements for the base. And once you're done, it stands up. All you have to do is press firmly down and fold it, and it folds into a normal A2 size card, and then you can mail it in a regular size envelope. Once I was done, I just went over and trimmed down my greeting to size, and then I'm going to layer on a piece of gold glitter behind it like I did with the other layers. This way everything coordinates and has a nice finished look. I usually will lay on my sentiments right onto the paper I'm using to mat it, and then just trim down two sides. I think it's easier than trying to line it up. And then I'm using the same glue runner to attach it to the top of my card. And once I'm done, this is how it looks. And again, it folds flat for mailing, but it stands up, and you can have it standing anywhere you want to then. I hope you guys enjoyed today's project and enjoyed a peek at the new items from Kat Scrappiness. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.